Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we have Goodwood and Galway tomorrow, and I've got some selections for Goodwood. I've actually got one for Galway. I did have a look at Galway's today, and I thought they were the races were very moderate, and I couldn't really find anything I liked in any of them, so we left that alone. But there's quite a few at Goodwood and one at Galway that we'll go through now. So starting off at Galway in the 150, the 1 mile and 2 furlongs. It's just about 1 mile 2 furlongs at Goodwood handicap, and there's two in this race that I like, and we'll start off with the really obvious one. That's Enfajar. Now Enfajar is a Shadwell Estate Company limited horse. They do like this meeting, and they do get their horses to this meeting very, very well handicapped. They get Cardham a few years ago, I think it was, winning a Stewards Cup. Obviously, that horse has actually gone on and won multiple Group 1s, or at least 2 Group 1s since. But yeah, they do target this race, these races at Goodwood, and the last 2 wins have been very impressive, beating Staywell at Chelmsford and then Botanical at York. Now, the only slight negative you would say for the horse is obviously he is going up in the handicap. Runs tomorrow off a mark of 105. Has to give weight, I think, to every other horse in the race, nearly. Sir Busker, he also runs off 105. Has to give weight to pretty much every other horse. Should he be running in listed or group races now? Maybe. But the fact that they've managed to sneak him in right at the top of a handicap, I'm sure they'll be delighted with that. And, you know, he's going to run a really big race here, back on the turf. He showed at York the turf is fine. There's no real negatives about him. Just where is his handicap limit? Where are we going to find that actually he's not any better than his mark? And he is currently, let's load these up live so that we can see what the prices they actually are, rather than quoting prices that were available 3 hours ago. 3 to 1, 100 to 30 at Bet365 and William Hill, but generally 3 to 1 is available about Enfajar. The second horse that I'm going to actually put up in this race is Staywell. Now, we were on Staywell 2 runs ago, last time out, sorry, for Staywell, when finishing second to Enfajar at Chelmsford. We were on at a decent price as well. I think we were on like 7s or 8s, went off 7 to 2, so got supported, ran a really good race, and was just beaten by the very well handicapped Enfajar. Now, initially you would go, well, why is he going to beat him this time? Well, Enfajar was rated 94 that day. He's now rated 105. He's up £11. Staywell gets to run off 90 again. So he's effectively £11 better off with Enfajar. I think that should make them a lot closer. You know, he only beat him by a length and 3/4. And with that in mind, the price of 16s just looks too big about Staywell. You know, if Enfajar is 100 to 30, 3 to 1, shouldn't Staywell be at least single figures? He's £11 better off with him. Yeah, I think 16s is too big about Staywell. Holly takes over from Finley Marsh. I've got no qualms about that. Holly rides this track quite nicely. So yeah, I'm hoping for a really big run here from Staywell as well. And if that's the biggest danger, let's hope it is the biggest danger to Enfajar. If it doesn't quite work for Enfajar, hopefully Staywell can take advantage and make amends for that good run last time out at Chelmsford, and get back into the winner's enclosure. Even if we look at the likes of Wadeka Gomez beat Enfajar a couple of runs ago. That horse was rated 87, up to 93. Staywell runs off 90, stays off 90. So he's £6 better off. Staywell was £6 better off with Wadeka Gomez. So why is Staywell a bigger price? I would have them much closer, particularly with the poor draw for Wadeka Gomez. Moving on to the 225, the 7 furlong Group 2, and I'm a big fan of the Parthenon, but I'm going to take him on with a horse that I said needed 7. But I said it needed 7 after finishing second at Royal Ascot. That's Electrolyte. Unfortunately, they stuck to 6 next time out over in a Group 2 and were well beaten behind the likes of Amori City, Whistle Jacket, Billboard Star. I just felt that he demonstrated that he definitely needed 7 that day, and not 6. And I'm hoping that he can show that I was right, and really improve for that run here. Now, you can currently get 13-2 about Electrolyte. I think he should be a little bit shorter than that. I think if you went purely on his Ascot run, he would be shorter. We're then giving him, we're saying that he wasn't good enough in the July stakes. Yeah, he wasn't. But that was over 6. Go back up, go up to 7, and I'm hoping that he can show that he's a 7 furlong horse rather than a 6 furlong horse. And so, yeah, I quite like that at 13-2 about Electrolyte. James Doyle should give him a good ride as well. We move on to the 3 o'clock, the Lennox Stakes over 7 furlongs. And, I mean, we've picked this horse a couple of times now, and I can't take him on tomorrow, to be honest. It's Kinross. Kinross ran a great race for us at Newcastle on his return. Just faded late, got tired right at the very end after 252 days off the track. I think he's a proper Group 1 horse, particularly over 7. Obviously, he's won this race twice, finished second on his other try in the race. He got beat by Sondrine that day by a neck. I mean, there's no negatives really about Kinross, and he's the one to beat, I think. You can forgive him his last run. Things didn't quite go to plan at Newmarket on the July course. I'm just having a look. He had been there before and he'd finished third to Shaquille and Run to Freedom. But the fact that Run to Freedom was able to beat Kinross, I kind of feel that race didn't work out. The July Cup in 2023. Obviously, the one of the joint favourites, Little Big Bear, it all went wrong. And if you take that horse out, it was a very moderate Group 1. So the fact that Kinross was even third there, I kind of feel that he didn't run his race at Newmarket July course again. And I'm prepared to forgive him that run and get him back to a course that we know he obviously thrives on, doesn't he? He runs really well at Goodwood. Is he 2 wins and a second? Is that all he's had? I'm just having another look on my other screen. Yeah, just the 3 runs at the track, 2 wins and a very close second. Can't take him on tomorrow, to be honest. In the 3 o'clock, let's have a look at the price. Kinross, wow, I'm surprised he's not clear favourite. 132nd favourite about Kinross. 335, it's the Group 1 over 2 mile. Not interested. Kyprios should win that. Let's move on to the 410. Just having a look. Do I have one? Yes, I do. I just can't take him on. Another one that we've been waiting for this race, Lord Redford. He's trying to win it for the 4th consecutive race, 4th consecutive year. Sorry. Interestingly, the horse has won this race off. Let me just find his handicap marks on my other screen. In 2021, he won this race of a mark of 88. Holly Doyle Road. Holly Doyle gets to ride again. In 2022, won it off 87. And in 2023, won it off 84. So bizarrely, was actually dropping in the handicap and was obviously still winning the race. Now, won it off 84 last year. Because he's out of the handicap, he actually runs off 85. But if he ran off 85 last year, he would have won it last year. He won by what? 3 1/4 lengths? 3 1/4 lengths from Existent last season. Put him up to 85 last year. He wins again. So yeah, there's no negatives there. The ground is possibly the only slight negative. Does he want a bit softer ground? But he won this race in 2022. It was good ground when he beat Dusky Lord. And did he win it the year before? It was soft the year before that. So he's gone on soft. He's also gone on good ground. Yeah, Holly Doyle knows how to ride the horse as well. She rode it 3 years ago and hasn't actually been on it since a disappointing run in a handicap at York. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that she knows what to do. And yeah, as I said, we've been waiting for this horse for ages. I'm sure a lot of people have. With this race in mind, you can get 5s. I think that's a great price. Could show that it just loves Goodwood. Moving on to the 445. Now, I normally don't get involved in maidens. And currently, there's no prices. But the forecast price, they're going 4-1. The field in this. if we can get 4-1 about the horse I like, I think it's worth a bet. And that horse is actually Kados, who's now been gelded. Now, the owners, Wathanon Racing, are trying to win races. Simple as that. They are trying to win races. They will do everything they can to win races. And the fact that they gelded this horse after he finished second over course and distance behind Principality, that was only in June. And that race has actually done all right. Billboard Star, who was third that day, has since come out and won at Newmarket on the July course, and then went to the July course again for the Group 2 for 2-year-olds, and finished second to Whistle Jacket. That is a really good run. Whistle Jacket is a very, very good horse. So Billboard Star finishing second probably suggested that Kados losing to Billboard to Principality and able to beat Billboard Star was probably a very good run. Principality hasn't quite done as much, but they did send him across to Ireland afterwards. They ran in the Railway Stakes in a Group 2, finished 5th, well beaten, has come back and finished 4th in a listed race. But I think the fact that the horses around Kados were listed or group class has the form over the course. They've gelded him as well. I think he's going to be the one to beat tomorrow. And yeah, I'm hoping for a really big run. And if we can get anywhere around that 4-1 sort of mark, I'll be very happy with that. We might get blocked in a minute, so we have to load up the races. No, we're okay at the moment. 5:20, the Fillies Handicap. Who do I like here? I'm going to stick with a horse that caught my eye at Royal Ascot, and that's Aris. Aris caught my eye when finishing 8th behind Soprano in the Sandringham. Now, I don't think things went to plan that day. Didn't get the clearest of runs. Travelled really strongly. And yeah, I think Jamie thought he was going to win it from a long way out, and then things didn't quite work out. I think this time he's going to give him a slightly different ride. And now back on board, they dropped him down to 7. They dropped her down to 7, sorry. And she ran okay at Newmarket, but probably showed that she doesn't have the speed for 7, and the mile is what she actually needs. If it is, and Jamie can get a good tune out of her, this isn't as deep as that race at Royal Ascot. Now, I know Strutting actually beat Aris on the day. Is there any weight pulls? I don't think there is. I'm just having a look. Yeah, Aris Strutting is up 6 from 83 to 89. And Aris ran off 88, ran off 89. So there's actually a £7 pull between Aris and Strutting. I think that's enough to reverse that form. And if that form's good enough to go really close, then I'm pretty happy with the price, about 11-2 about Aris. Jamie to sit there and wait as long as possible and hopefully quicken through towards the end. 2 to go. We've got one more at Goodwood. Yes, we have got one more at Goodwood. And that first one is currently available at 7-1, just about. That is Executive Decision. Now, Executive Decision actually won this race last year and is £3 higher. Has dropped back to a mark of 87 after being as high as 94 at the end of last season. But I think this is the time of year for this horse, first of all. The horse took 3 runs to get going last year. After going off 80-1 at Ascot in the Palace of Holyrood House Stakes, then went off 40-1 at Newmarket in a feature handicap, then came to Goodwood for this race and won it off 84. Now, she's rated 87 now, and initially I'd look at that and go, well, higher in the ratings, is the horse going to be good enough to overcome that slight rise? Well, the horse did then go to Chepstow off a mark of 90 and won. So the 87 mark isn't beyond the horse anyway. And if we actually look at that Goodwood run, she was beating Sophia's Starlight and Funny Story. Now, Sophia's Starlight came out and won the, was it the Great St Wilfrid? Just having a look. Yeah, won the Great St Wilfrid next time out, beating Summergand. And Funny Story, who was third, she was one of those horses that I was really looking forward to in handicaps. After finishing third, she then went to Pontefract for a listed race, finished second, did eventually go and win a listed race at Newmarket, beating Sophia's Starlight. Has come out and finished second to Unequal Love, second to Rakai in listed races. Executive Decision beating those two in this race was a very good performance, and if I looked at that race now and said Executive Decision was just £3 higher and was, I think Sophia's Starlight and Funny Story are much better than that. So the £3, I don't think that's going to be enough now that the horse has managed to drop nicely in the handicap back to this mark. And with that in mind, I think this is a really nice price about Executive Decision, 7-1. I don't think there's a Funny Story, and I don't think there is a Sophia's Starlight in this race. Final one, off to Galway for the... No, not that one. The 7:10 race. Let's hope we get one more race in. Yes, we do. It's for the BMW mile handicap. It's just over a mile. The horse we like here, we have spoken about before in previous videos. That is Kados for Dermot Weld. Obviously, Dermot Weld is synonymous with Galway, first of all. So anything he runs, you do have to have a look at. We backed Kados at Royal Ascot. And on the basis that if it didn't quite work, when he goes back to the Curragh or Galway, we will be very keen on him. It didn't work at the Curragh. Did disappoint. But his run at Ascot, I thought, was plenty good enough to suggest that a big handicap is still within his reach off his mark of 100. James Ryan actually takes 5 off as well. That could be a very useful £5 off. Essentially, therefore, running off 95. Won handicaps last year of 92 and 97. Around this time of year, after winning this, then went to the Curragh and won. So even if it's just about getting it, going at this time of year, Kados, I think, will go very close here. And reasonable price at 6-1. 15-2 is an outlier. You probably won't be able to get that at 6-1. So I'm happy with Kados in that race. So a very quick recap. Kados in the 7:10 at Galway. Won it last year. Yes, he's off a higher mark, but I think the £5 that James takes off will be very useful. Back to Goodwood, we go Enfajar and Staywell. Enfajar could still be very well handicapped. On the basis that Enfajar is, Staywell should be £11 better off for being finishing second last time out. 225, I like Electrolyte. That 7 furlong trip is ideal for Electrolyte. 3 o'clock, Kinross can't take him on. 1-2-1 in this race. Nothing in the Goodwood Cup. We'd like Lord Redford again to make it 4 out of... to win this race for the 4th consecutive year. No issues there. 1 in the maiden. Kados, his form was good anyway. He's been gelded. I think Wathnan Racing are trying to win just every race they can at all these big meetings. And it doesn't matter that it's a maiden. Aris, Jamie Spencer back on board. The back up to a mile will be weighted with, and hopefully that is good enough to see the horse go past strutting this time. And finally, in the 5:55, we like Executive Decision, who won this race last year before going on to win again. The runner-up and the third have both gone and done well since, and I thought they were better handicapped than Executive Decision last season. So with that in mind, I think Executive Decision will go very close. Let's have a quick look through who's going to be my next best and third best. Kados is going to be my third best. You know what? I'm going to go Executive Decision as my nap. Let's do Kinross as my next best. So they are going to be my 3 selections for tomorrow in the free nap competition. There are going to be prizes for that, so do get involved.